all of these lovely books. I'm happy. I'm very happy. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's already October. I have not yet done a October TBR, and that is because I'm not participating in any readathons in October. At first I was really excited to do a readathon in October. I wanted to participate in the October readathon. It sounded amazing, it still looks amazing, and I think they're having a blast right now. But by the end of September I concluded that in October I'm going to read whatever the heck I want, and I'm so excited about it. I thought I would share some books that I plan on reading in October, books that I've been excited to read for a long time, and also I plan on having a few challenges and goals for myself. So I'm just gonna get started because I have a great bunch of books in front of me and I'm so excited to read them and talk about them. The first book that I started to read in October, which I have been longing for to read, is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sequel to Six of Crows. I read Six of Crows in June and I ordered this book straight away after I finished Six of Crows, and I've been meaning to get to this one but I simply haven't. But now I'm finally reading it. I'm about 50% through it. As you can see, I put in a couple of tabs and it's so good. Oh, I've been waiting for this. The first book in this duology is about 6 characters that are trying to break in to one of the most guarded prisons in this fantasy world. And that book was so good. What I like about the books is that they are very character driven. You follow these 6 characters from different points of view, and everyone has their own struggles and their strengths, and they're witty, and it's kind of like this found family thing going on as well, which I just adore. I'm so happy to be reading this one finally, and I do think that if you enjoyed Six of Crows, you're going to love Crooked Kingdom, because now you know the world, you know the characters, they're just gonna make you fall in love with them even more. So I'm so happy. I love this book. I have heard that it will hurt, and I have accidentally been spoiled due to Twitter, so I do think I know parts of what is coming. Reading this one, it's great. The second book I'm currently reading, I have one book that I read at home before going to bed and such, and I have one book that I bring with me on the bus and when I'm going to work. And the book I'm bringing with me on the bus is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I'm about 40% through this one, and I was so surprised by it when I started reading it. I borrowed this from the library and it's great. The first 50 pages were amazing. The world, how it's explained, it's like a dystopian sci-fi about a game. It's about this virtual game where you put on a visor and some gloves and you're in the game. You follow this guy, Wade Watts, who's very poor, he lives in poor conditions, and his escape is this world, this game. You follow him and you follow all the characters that are engaged in this game. It's just great, and the way this game is described is so cool. You imagine yourself being in this game. The only thing I would say is that Ernest Cline, he relies pretty heavily on all of these 80s references. In this book, the maker of this game, which is called Oasis, the maker of it was obsessed with the 80s. And that is heavily reflected in the book because there's a lot of talk about games and movies and music that were popular in the 80s. So perhaps if you don't have that connection to the 80s, those bits and parts of the book might be a bit draggy. If you get past that, try this one out. I did not expect to like this one as much as I am. Oh, it's so exciting. I love it. Currently reading 2 really great books. I couldn't be happier. The book I plan on picking up once I finish Crooked Kingdom is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Wee Schwab. It was released yesterday. I picked it up yesterday and I managed to get this gorgeous copy. Look at it. It's like a smaller hardback for some reason. I don't know why it's smaller, but it's gorgeous. It has these blue what's it even called? Stained pages. Once you take off the dust jacket, it's gorgeous. Oh my god. I'm so excited. I love V. Schwab's writing. Her A Darker Shade of Magic series is what got me back into reading. This book is basically about a French girl who makes a deal with the devil to live forever. But the cost of this deal is that no one will ever remember her. No one will remember her name, she won't be able to leave a mark in the world, but then one day suddenly a guy remembers her. He remembers her name. That's basically what I know. From what I heard from others that have read it, compared to V. Schwab's previous work, this is a much more lyrical book. Usually V. Schwab's writing is very straightforward, which I personally enjoy. I know that not everyone does, but this one is apparently more descriptive, a bit slower paced, but also very beautiful. I'm hoping I will love this one. I'm so excited. I then have some other books I need to pick up this month. I went to the library and I picked up not only Ready Player One, but I also picked up Låt den rätte komma in, or in English it's called Let the Right One In, and it's by John Ajvide Lindqvist, a Swedish author. You might have heard about this book actually, because I know it's a movie, both a Swedish and I guess an American movie. It takes place in like the outskirts and suburbs of Stockholm during the 1980s, and they follow a boy who befriends a girl who turns out to be a vampire. And that's basically the book, from what I know. I've been meaning to get more into Swedish authors and read more Swedish books. I'm trying it out with this one, and if you have any recommendations for other books by Swedish authors, please let me know. The third book I picked up from the library is The Devil All the Time by Donald Ray Pollock. I was super excited about this one. I'm actually the one that requested that my library bought this book, or that they would stock it. And I was so excited about this one because Kat from Paperback Dreams had talked about this one with her father, and they both loved it. And recently a movie was released on Netflix based off this book, starring Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson and Bill Skarsgård, and so many others. My plan was to read the book first and then watch the movie, but that didn't happen. I watched the movie first and now I will be reading the book. I am a bit worried that I might have been spoiled and that my reading experience won't be as good because I've already seen the movie. I believe it takes place during the 60s, and we follow a family or a character and basically his upbringing, and there's a lot of talk about Christianity and it's wicked. Things happen. The movie is good though. One of my goals for October, my personal goals, is to finally read a non-fiction. I haven't really been able to read many non-fictions during the last few months. Somehow I couldn't fit them into the readathons that I was interested in participating in. But I have been gathering a few non-fiction books during these past few months, so I thought that it's finally time for me to read one of those books. I have not yet decided which book to read. Perhaps you can let me know which one, but here are my 4 options. First, I have Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Doughty. Basically, this is a memoir about a woman who works in a crematory. So there's a lot of reflection about death, the process in the crematory, I guess. It sounds really cool, really different and interesting. So that's option number 1. Second option is Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark. This is a book about, as it says, being human in the age of artificial intelligence. I just finished university, but in university I took a few courses about computer science, about deep learning, artificial intelligence, and so on. And this is a topic that really intrigues me and that I want to know more about. So why not read a book about it? I've heard great things about the book, so I'm very curious. Third option is Factfulness by Hans Rosling, another Swedish author. And basically this book is a book about how the world might not be as bad as we think it is. I actually bought this one in Swedish, so that's quite cool. And it actually starts out with a test. So it's like this multiple choice quiz at the first couple of pages. I think it will do great thing with your reflection of how things are. Fourth option is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edel-Lodge. I bought this one due to the whole Black Lives Matter movement, which has been going on throughout 2020. People find it educational. I think it would be a good read. So those are the options for a non-fiction that I will try to read in October. Another one of my goals for October is to start one of the adult fantasy series that I've been meaning to start reading for a while. I did a fantasy haul in August for some fantasy books containing a bunch of first books in different adult fantasy series. I still haven't started any of them really, so it's time that I do. My 4 options are The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. We then have The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. It's the first book in the Mistborn series. Then we have The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie, which is the first book in the First Law series. And then the fourth and final option is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. So those are the 4 options I have for adult fantasy series, and I really want to start reading them, but I have not yet decided which one to start reading. So please let me know. I'm just gonna mention a few other things I would like to get to, but honestly I have no clue. One thing would be to actually finish a book I'm already reading. That would be really nice. And I have 3 options for this goal, I guess. First off, we have Life of Pi. I started reading this one in July. I'm about 10% through. As a second option, we have The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, the Hunger Games prequel. This one is without the dust jacket, so this is what it looks like. I'm about 37% through this one, according to Goodreads. Would be good to finish this one, we'll have to see. And then third option is The Bookweaver's Daughter by, I don't remember her name. It's an arc that I'm currently reading, and I have been reading it since September, so I would really need to get to that one. I'm about 50% through. Then I did borrow a couple of books from a friend of mine, and it would be nice if I could get to either one of those books fairly soon. Perhaps not October, maybe November is more realistic. The first book out of the 2 is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, the same author that wrote Circe, which I have somewhere. Basically a love story between Achilles and Patroclus. Don't know more about the plot. It's apparently really beautiful. People love the romance in this one. It's supposed to be great. I know I really enjoyed Madeline Miller's writing, so I'm happy to get to this one at some point. The second book I borrowed from my friend is The Book Thief, or Boktjuven in Swedish, by Marcus Zusak. I would say it's a modern classic. I've heard many people talk about this one. It's a staple. I have not yet read this one though. It takes place during Nazi Germany, and from what I gather it's about a boy who steals books, so a book thief, and that's that. So we'll see how I get along with this one. Then, to just throw it out there, while I bought The Invisible Life of Adela Rue, I also picked up a second book, because when you're in a bookstore, might as well buy at least 2 books, right? So I bought Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I've been meaning to get this one, but I didn't want to buy the hardback or the huge paperback. Just recently this pocket was released, which is perfect. So yeah, I picked this one up. I don't know when I will be able to get this one. Hopefully sometime during this fall or winter, because it's, from what I know, it's dark academia, it takes place at a university and there's like shit going on. I don't know. Sounds cool. Obviously, I do enjoy Leigh Bardugo's writing, so I'm hopeful. And those are the books I wanted to talk to you about. I'm so excited about everything that's in front of me right now. I'm so happy with the books I'm currently reading. It's like I've been blessed by the book gods. When do you ever get this lucky that both of the books that you're currently reading are amazing? That never happens, right? And then the other day when I also bought this one, it's like... So that's that for me actually. Reading whatever you want, whenever you want to, because that feeling is pretty great actually. But I am excited about perhaps trying to go for a new readathon in November. So if you have any suggestions or recommendations for readathons, please let me know. I'm always on the lookout for an exciting readathon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well, and take care, okay? Goodbye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what